Hi, everybody. It's Monday, and this is our Monday lesson. So it'll be available for you to look at before we start our live session today. Um, I'm going to share my screen and get started. Okay, here we go. Our first slide tells us what the lesson is. Well, the date of the lesson, April 20th, 2020, pretty cool date. And of course, we're going to start going through with our learner's creed. And probably today we're in our live lesson. I would like us to just say it together because we haven't said it in a long time. Okay. And our soaring eagle, I will show self-control, offer peer support, actively listen and learn, and respect everyone. Okay. And today, as usual, we'll be doing reading for about 45 minutes, math for about 45 minutes, and then the science lessons will be between 15 and 30. And then we'll wrap up as we have in the past. And I just want you guys to be ready to answer questions and stuff. I think it's pretty easy as we go through it together. It's kind of like just being in the classroom. I've really enjoyed hearing you guys read, and I'm excited that you guys are willing to read for me and answer questions. I think you're doing a great job. So I know that we can't be together, but this is the next best thing. Okay, so we're going to start off with a new standard for this week. Today's topic is going to be context clues in literature. It's actually standard RL 5.4. It's determine the meaning of words and phrases as they are used in a text, recognizing specific word choices that contribute to the meaning and tone. Okay, and we've talked about context clues a lot in our studies, and tone is the voice that the author is using to convey an emotion. Okay, so when we're looking at different types of reading or types of passages, you get a feeling about what kind of a story it is, and that is the author's tone. Okay, all right, what students should do. Students examine the text to understand the meaning of words or phrases using the context to inform their thinking. They identify words that add to the meaning and tone of the text. Now, we've talked about context clues, and one of our lessons last week, I called on several different students to ask, when we're looking for the meaning of something in a passage, what kind of clues do we use? And Atzel had said we use the words around that word, and that's true. If we have a word that we don't know, we look at the sentences and the words around that so that we can figure that word out. Now, we also use our previous experiences, okay? And whatever the passage is about, we can kind of convey those things that we already know into that passage, and it gives us hints about how to figure it out again. Now, if there's any pictures in the story, those give us big hints because we can kind of look at the picture, read the passage, and put those two things together to figure it out, okay? So if we don't know a word, we can sometimes chunk that word too, and that helps us get the meaning of the word. And we can use all these things as context clues to figure out the meaning of the passage. Okay, so as usual, we will be doing unwrap, UNWRAP. U is for underline the title. And remind me if we get into our lesson and I forget this because I did the last time when we were live, because I get so excited sometimes about getting into the passage. Okay, so remind me that we need to unwrap before we even start. So U is for underline the title. N is for number the paragraphs. W is for walk through the questions. R, read the text 2 times if time permits. A, answer the questions. P, prove your answer. And that's with evidence from the text that we will cite. And when you cite something, it means making notes in the margin, or when you're answering the question, you say, I found in paragraph 3 the words blah, 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 blah. Help me to understand what this word meant. Okay, that's just an example. Okay, and we don't write blah, 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 blah. All right, so, and again, when I say read the text 2 times if time permits, when you guys are doing the passages that you do on your own at home, please read through the text the first time to understand what it's going to be about, walk through your questions, and then go back and read the text again so that when you get to the end of the passage, you can answer the questions. Okay? All right, let's get started. All right, passage number 1. This is on page 15 in the packet, I believe, okay? All right, here we go. Night after night, Lizzie pored over an old book of poems. The book had poems by poets such as Jonathan Swift and Alexander Pope. Swift and Pope always found witty or clever ways to write about everyday subjects. They always had a new way to describe something that was ordinary. Lizzie studied their poems carefully because she wanted to be a true poet. She loved the challenge of writing poetry because it was never easy to write. Whenever Lizzie finished a poem, she was proud of it. She believed her poems were original and different, just like Swift and Pope. Okay, I'm going to walk through the questions and then I'll read it again, and that's what we're supposed to be doing when we do it at home. In the passage, the word poured means, I'm going to underline that word so that we understand that that's the one that we're focusing on. Okay, there. Okay, the word poured means A, to stretch wide, B, to read carefully, C, to rain very hard, D, to make a crack. Now, poured, like it poured rain all day, we have to remember that some of these words might sound the same but are spelled differently and mean something else, which is a homophone. So we have to read carefully to take the information around that word to make sure that we are getting the right meaning, okay? So let's go back and read that passage again. Wait a minute, I think I have other questions. One more, hold on, just one more. Yes, I do. Okay, second question. Which of the following clues from the passage helps the reader know what challenge means? And again, I'm going to underline that word. There. Okay. Let's see. Which of the following clues from the passage helps the reader know what challenge means? A, the book had poems by poets. Okay. B, it was never easy to write. Okay, if something isn't easy, okay. C, she was proud of it. Okay, well, I don't know if that means anything about a challenge, but let's see. And D, Lizzie studied their poems. Okay, so those are the 4 answers. So we probably can start eliminating in our head right now which ones really are kind of silly and don't fit. Let's go back and read the passage one more time. Okay, night after night, Lizzie pored over an old book of poems. The book had poems by poets such as Jonathan Swift and Alexander Pope. Swift and Pope always found witty or clever ways to write about everyday subjects. They always had a new way to describe something that was ordinary. Lizzie studied their poems carefully because she wanted to be a true poet. She loved the challenge of writing poetry because it was never easy to write. Whenever Lizzie finished a poem, she was proud of it. She believed her poems were original and different, just like Swift and Pope. Okay. So, number 1, in the passage, the word poured means to stretch wide. I don't think so. I've never heard the word poured as like stretching something. To read carefully. Is that what Lizzie's doing in this passage? Yeah, it is. Okay. It says that she every night she pored over an old book of poems. She read it and read it and read it. Okay. And she wants to make sure that she's being really careful about studying these 2 poets and their works. So let's put that one aside. Okay. That one might work. And to rain very hard. We talked about that. I just mentioned that poured is P-O-U-R-E-D, like I poured a drink or the rain poured down. Okay. So we can eliminate that one right off the bat. And to make a crack, I can't imagine how that would be to make a crack either. To make a crack, when you think of a poured sidewalk, perhaps you might see cracks in that, but that's not going to apply here, is it? Okay. All right. So the best answer, it seems to be, was to read carefully, and we can picture Lizzie sitting there, kind of over her book, reading away, okay, and reading very carefully in order to get better at being a poet, okay? And let's look at, I want to come back to the other word witty in a second because that's underlined here too. But the questions that we have so far are just about poured and challenge. So question number 2 says, which of the following clues from the passage helps the reader know what challenge means? Okay, and these are actual sentences from the passage, and they're talking about, okay, the book had poems by poets. Does that mean it's going to be a challenge necessarily? No, she's always saying that poetry is hard to write, but reading poetry sometimes can be a challenge, but it doesn't necessarily mean that's so. Okay. How about it says it was never easy to write? If something isn't easy, then it's usually challenging. Okay. So let's keep that one for now. She was proud of it. I think when you overcome a challenge, you're usually proud of yourself, but that doesn't necessarily mean challenge. Okay. If she was proud of it, she was proud of it. I can't think of another word right now off the top of my head. Okay. Now, Lizzie studied their poems. Well, that's the act of studying. And just studying itself doesn't necessarily mean that it's a challenge. So let's go with it was never easy to write. That's the one that makes the most sense. Okay. Now, I wanted to go back to the word witty. I wonder if we can figure out what that means. Okay. It says Swift and Pope always found witty or clever ways to write about everyday subjects. Okay. I wonder if you can find what the clue is in that sentence that shows us what witty means. Okay. So when you read that sentence, there's another word that follows witty that kind of gives us that clue. All right. Swift and Pope always found witty or clever ways to write about everyday subjects. Now, if something's clever, it usually means kind of smart or put together in a way that makes you say, or maybe even laugh. So witty is usually using ways of humor or words in a way that kind of make you think about it more. And witty also, if you use your wits, it means being smart. So it's smart and kind of funny or comical or and clever. Okay. So that's how we can figure out witty from just the words in that sentence. Okay. All right. Let's go on to passage 2. All right. Here we go. My family finally arrived at our 3-day camping trip. We were really anticipating having great weather. We packed sunscreen, sun hats, and bathing suits, but we didn't count on a change in the forecast. It started pouring as we were about to go on our first rowboat trip. My brother was so downcast about the weather that he sat in the boat, just waiting for the rain to pass. We ran for cover, then joined him later as the sun peeked out. He was dripping wet and laughing at our first camp misadventure. Okay, let's read through our questions. In the passage, what is the meaning of downcast? Okay, and I'll underline that word. Downcast, underline. What is the meaning of downcast? Does it mean upset, interested, confused, or excited? Now, think about how brother was feeling when the weather changed and they couldn't actually go in the rowboat when they had planned. Okay. All right. And in the passage, what does the word anticipating mean? Underline that word. Okay. Anticipating. Does it mean hoping for? Anticipating. Containing the right amount. Understanding something or about to find out. Okay. Let's go back to the passage. And actually, I want to underline downpour. Whoops, where is it here? It is anticipating. Okay, my brother was so downcast. That was the other word that we had to be thinking about. Okay. All right, so now we're ready. Let's read through the passage a second time. My family finally arrived at our 3-day camping trip. We were really anticipating having great weather. What does that mean? Anticipating? We were really anticipating having great weather, and we had packed sunscreen, sun hats, and bathing suits. Okay, that should be a clue. All right. But we didn't count on a change in the forecast. It started pouring as we were about to go on our first rowboat trip. Oh, there's that word pouring, what I was talking about when it rains really hard. Okay. My brother was so downcast about the weather that he sat in the boat just waiting for the rain to pass. So if you're downcast, so when it started to rain and they weren't expecting it, um, brother just went and sat in the boat. He didn't even run for cover. He was just like, so downcast. When we get to our questions, let's think about that and what he did. Okay. We ran for cover, then joined him later as the sun peeked out. He was dripping wet and laughing at our first camp misadventure. All right, so here we go. Our first set of questions, number 3. In the passage, what is the meaning of downcast? Does it mean he was upset, he was interested, he was confused, or he was excited? I think we pretty much can figure out that he was upset, wasn't he? And downcast kind of means disappointed. If you can think, downcast, like you're kind of drooping, you're looking down, okay? Your vision is cast downward, okay? You're upset, maybe kind of sad, okay? So let's go with letter A. I'm sorry, yeah, letter A, upset. Because he's not excited, he's not confused. Excuse me. And he's not interested because he wanted to go on the boat. And now he can't. Number 4, in the passage, what does the word anticipating mean? And I think when I was explaining about what they had packed and how they felt, I think I might have given you an additional clue. Okay, so they were anticipating good weather. Let's go back to the here. Let's just check that because that's what we should do when we're not exactly sure. My family finally arrived at our 3-day camping trip. We were really anticipating having great weather. We packed sunscreen, sun hats, and bathing suits, and we didn't count on a change in the forecast. Okay. So what does anticipating mean? Let's see. Hoping for, containing the right amount, understanding something, or about to find out. And if we see that they packed for a certain kind of weather. So it looks like they were really hoping for sunshine and warm weather. First day didn't turn out quite that way, but hopefully the rest of their trip went as good as expected. Okay. All right. So we were going to be looking at answer A. All right. Let's go on to the next part, which is when tonight you're going to read the next 2 passages and answer the questions that go along with it on your own. And then we will cover these 2 passages on Tuesday, tomorrow, because we have 2 passages from Friday that we were reading over the weekend. And then these 2 passages. So Tuesday is our review of what we have done today. And we'll also be doing review of our vocabulary words tomorrow. And we'll be doing we have a math quiz today. So we're not going to be moving on to our next subject till tomorrow. Okay, so read these 2 passages tonight. One is passage number 1. My cousin and I have the same taste in clothes. And I think there's just one question for that one. And then Yodel the Golden Retriever is passage number 2. And there's only one question for that one as well. Okay, let's go on to Wordly Wise. And I've made a note here that we will share our sentences from our vocabulary words, 3 from Friday and 3 from today. And we'll let the sentences that you write, we'll read through them tomorrow, okay? So I'll be calling on different people to share their sentences. Make sure that you have them written down. Okay, first word that we're gonna go over today from our lesson number 11 is nonchalant, okay? It's an adjective, so that's a describer word for a person, place, or thing. Describes a noun, okay? So our definition number 1 here is relaxed and calm in a way that shows you do not care or are not worried about anything. And geez, I don't know why I didn't. Relaxed and calm in a way that shows you do not care or are not worried about anything. You're nonchalant, okay? He acted, here, I gotta catch this one up too. Okay. He acted very nonchalant about being grounded. So he acted like, no big deal, right? Didn't care. Okay. I don't think he acted that way in front of his parents, probably. He probably acted that way in front of his friends. Okay. So we need to try it out. Write a sentence using the word, thinking about how would somebody be nonchalant? What kind of a situation might they be nonchalant about? Or maybe they're nonchalant about having to take a test. They acted like they didn't care because it was, they had all their information. They had studied really well and they were good to go. Okay. Maybe they're nonchalant about going out for a run. They didn't think it was that big a challenge. Things like that. Just try to think of something that you might be nonchalant, relaxed, and calm in a way that shows you don't care and you're not worried about anything. You got it. Okay. Okay. Contact. This time we're using contact as a noun. We're going to use it as a verb in the third word that we're having today for our wordly wise. Okay. Contact as a noun, person, place, or thing. Contact is a thing. When two people or things physically touch each other. Okay. Heat is transferred by conduction when two things are in contact and one is hot. That was from our science lessons early in the year with transfer of heat. Heat is transferred by conduction when two things are in contact and one is hot. Okay? Or there's a difference in the temperature of the two things. Okay, part 2 of the noun contact. The moment when people see and or communicate with each other. Okay, the moment when people see or communicate with each other. Most people have had little contact with the public recently. Okay, it's like when you see your friend and you wave to them, that's when you make contact at the park or whatever. Okay, when you call somebody on the phone, okay, you're communicating with somebody, that's when you're making contact with them. All right, so try that one, please. Write a sentence using the word, and you can check it out with your parent or an adult, and definitely when we get in class together on the video chat, we can do that. Okay. All right, so now contact verb. Okay, definition number 1: to call, write, or otherwise communicate with someone or something. We were able to contact them by radio. Okay, so it's the action of getting in touch with somebody or communicating. Okay, so try writing a sentence with contact the verb. You're going to be communicating, you're going to be contacting somebody. Okay, it was difficult to contact them because of the storm. There's another example. Okay, alrighty, so let's get those sentences written for tomorrow and we will share them. Okay, every day we're supposed to be doing our daily journal writing. Choose a topic to write about for each journal entry. Journal topics usually have something to do with you. Okay, things that you like, don't like, where you might like to go, maybe your favorite foods, a great movie you saw, how you're feeling. Anything you want to write about is fine. Okay, I'd like 3 or 4 sentences. I don't want anything big. This is not supposed to be tedious. Tedious means taking a long time and being a pain in the butt. Okay. Or if you want to write a story or if you want to write a lot, that's perfectly fine too. So tomorrow, Tuesday, we're going to be sharing some of our journal entries from this past week. And so make sure you have your journal ready. And whenever we have our lessons together, please make sure you have a pencil and paper ready to go to in case you need to scribble down some notes, and especially for our math lessons. Okay? And you should be keeping your journal entries in a safe place so that you can grab them and know where they are and keep them all together. And if you're doing them on the computer, you should be saving them so that you can pull them up easily. Okay? Thanks. All right. Oh, I skipped my math. Okay, my opening math thing. This week's topic, well, we're still working on last week's topic, because when I looked at the quiz, I said, I'm not sure they're going to be able to get through this okay. And I think this would be one last cool thing for practice. So this time we're going to take the quiz together. And I'm hoping that maybe this week, depending on how the lessons go, maybe we'll have a quiz on Friday. Again, we're not taking grades on the quiz. It's just to show yourself and me if you understand what we're doing, okay? And if we don't understand what we're doing, then maybe we'll spend another day on it. That's it, okay? So don't get intimidated. I just want everybody to do their best. So I have my notes ready here, okay? And I'm going to be using my notes because it's a lot easier to do math when you write things down, okay? That's why I said please have a paper and a pencil, okay? So let's look at this first. Again, it's still evaluating expressions with and without parentheses. And we have to remember our, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, okay? PEMDAS. And in fact, I think I'll write that right on here. Okay. You know what? I think I'm going to do it as a little box there. There. Take that. Maybe I can put it right here. All right. Capital PEMDAS. Over. There. Okay, so we have our letters. Parentheses, exponents, multiply or divide, divide or multiply, add or subtract, subtract or add. All right. So Ella babysits 3 hours each day for 4 days. Okay, that's 3 hours a day, 4 days. On the 5th day, she babysits for 6 hours. Which expression represents how many hours Ella babysits altogether? Okay, so we are looking for 3 hours each day for 4 days. So 3 hours times 4 days. Okay, here's this one down here. D says 3 times 4. Excuse me, I got a frog in my throat today. And on the 5th day, it says she babysits for 6 hours. So we have to add that in. Okay, so this one down, D does say, let's see, 4 plus, no, we don't want 4 plus 3 plus 6, because that's not, because we have 3 hours for 4 different days. That's 3 times 4. We have 4 times 3 here, which could work, but that doesn't work with the way they have that group, does it? Okay, and then 3 times 4 plus 6. We're not doing 4 plus 6 and then multiplying it by 3. So we're going to stick with this letter D down here. We have 3 hours times 4 days, and then we're adding in 6 hours. Okay, so if we were able to solve that, let's put a text box over here. We have 3 times 4 plus 6. We do multiplication first, so we should probably put our parentheses in just so we can see it easily. Okay, and then second box. Three times 4 is 12. Bring down whatever we haven't used yet. Plus 6. And our answer is 12 plus 6 is 18. All right. We don't have to solve it, but I think it's a really good practice to do it because it shows us the ending and we can check our work. Okay. All right. So let's move on to the second problem. Which expression represents the statement, divide the difference of 27 and 3 by 4? Okay, we're looking at difference here. Oopsie. Erase. Oh, shoot. All right. Okay. So the difference, I wanted to underline that for us. I can't. Oh, that's right. I snipped it and pasted it. Okay, but anyways, we're looking at the difference. When we think of difference, that's one of our words that is a key to subtraction. So we need the difference of 27 and 3. So that means 27 take away 3. So that's what we have to start with in our head, okay? And after that, it says divide the difference of 27 and 3. So 27 minus 3 has to happen first, then divide it by 4, okay? So we're looking over here, 27 minus 3 divided by 4. Now, if the parentheses aren't there, our rules say to divide first. So we would take 3 divided by 4 as our, because of PEMDAS, right? PEMDAS is parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, then add or subtract. And in this problem A, if without the parentheses already there, we would say 3 divided by 4, and that's not going to make sense, okay? Letter B says that we're going to do 27 take away 3 first and then divide it by 4. Now that's exactly what this problem is saying. Divide the difference of 27 and 3, 27 take away 3 by 4. So you take away 3 from 27, then divide it by 4. Okay, so let's keep that one there for now. Now 27 divide by 3, subtract 4. No, that's not talking about same thing. Divide the difference of 27 and 3, not divide 27 by 3. Okay, now this one, this letter D here is saying 27 subtract 3 divide by 4. That one could work. Okay. But we're looking for an expression, not a problem setup. We're not looking for, when we see this line here, that's a fraction, isn't it? Okay, even though this might work, I think we should stick to our expressions, all right? Because this is saying take away 3 from 27 and then divide by 4, but let's stick with our expressions, which is a written statement. Okay, and then letter E is 4 divided by 27 take away 3, and that's not going to work either. And again, that's set up in a fraction form. So if we look back up at B, this says the difference of 27 and 3, which is 27 take away 3, and divide by 4. Okay, so let's get our text box. I added it here in my text box. Okay, so I'm going to put, that's not right there, text box. Okay. The text box is going to set up with 27 subtract 3, close parentheses. And remember, I'm using a percentage sign for divide because I don't know where it is. I haven't figured that out yet. Divide by 4. Okay, so our next line we're going to do this parentheses first. 27 take away 3 is 24. Divide by 4. Okay, and we should know our facts. 24 divided by 4 equals, whoopsie, equals 6, because 6 times 4 is 24. All right, not bad, huh? So that was up here. This one is, I should probably put that back in the box here. So our answer is, oh, you know what I wanted to do on this one? I wanted to show you that on letter D, all right. I wanted to show you that on letter D, we put the parentheses in first because that just makes it easier for us to see. So this was 3 times 4 plus 6. And then I'm just going to put some stars here because I can't put it anyplace else. That would be parentheses 3 times 4, close parentheses, plus 6. Okay, there. Oops, I put a dollar sign instead of a 4. Here we go. All right. Okay. So 3 times 4 plus 6 becomes 3 times 4 in parentheses plus 6. Then we solve for 3 times 4, which was 12, plus 6 equals 18. And that was letter D. Okay. Down here, we were going with letter B. So let me put that answer in there so that once we're done with it, we have it there. Okay, letter B. Alrighty, we're ready to go to the next slide. Turn our text bar off. There we go. Okay. Number 3. Oh, I thought that was going to stay there. That's a bummer. Okay. All right. I'll have to write it in when we go. Grease. I'm gonna have to read. Well, it'll give you a better chance, I guess, to solve it on your own after I've walked through it with you. Okay. All right. Question number 3. Zoe. Now this is kind of like a riddle. Okay, so this is gonna be fun. Zoe is 16 years old. Okay. Her brother Luke is 3 years more than half her age. We need to write a numeric expression for how old Luke is. What is Luke's age? And we're supposed to show our work. Okay, so let's do this. We want to do text box. Okay, so Zoe is 16. Her brother Luke is 3 years more than half her age. So we have to figure out what half her age is first. And how do we make half out of something? We're going to have to divide it, right? Because if we had 16 cupcakes and we divided them in half between 2 people, how many cupcakes would each person get? So we're going to do 16 divide by 2. That's the first thing we're going to do. So we're going to put it in parentheses. And because we want to make sure that that's the first step. Then it says Luke is 3 years more than half. So once we figure out 16 divided by 2, his age is actually going to be 3 more years than that. So plus 3. There we have our sentence. Okay, so now I'll go over here and put another text box over here. Okay. So 16 divided by 2, we're going to solve the parentheses first. 16 divided by 2. 2 times something is 16. 2 times 8 is 16. So 16 divided by 2 is 8. And put in the rest of the stuff we haven't used. Plus sign and the 3 equals 11. So Luke is can't get that thing to cooperate. All right, Luke is 11. And usually what we'll do too is put a statement. It's not asking you for it here, but if it was just, write a statement about your number sentence, it would be Luke is 11 years old. Easy peasy, right? Okay. Now the next one's out of I know it's supposed to be number 4, but because the length of the problems, I put them on a different page. It fit better. 3 and 5 were able to fit on one page, and 4 was too long, so I put it on a separate page. Okay. So Robert says the expressions 2 plus 3 times 7 and 2 plus parentheses 3 times 7 have the same value. Is he correct? Now, at first you might say, no, but think about our PEMDAS, okay? Think about PEMDAS. Put PEMDAS over here again. Okay. In PEMDAS, we're looking for parentheses, okay? Parentheses first. So we have 3 times 7, okay? Which would be 21. Now, when we see this here, we'd have to put in the 3 times 7 if we're following the rules. So basically, this second problem, these two expressions, the second expression is just basically taking the next step. So our answer would be yes. These problems are the same because if you're using PEMDAS, you're going to automatically put your parentheses. Oops, let's see here. Here we go again. There we go. Now I need a drawing tool. There. You're going to automatically put your parentheses here and here in order to solve the problem. So basically what Robert says, they are the same value because he, in this problem right here, has already done that. Okay? So with text box down here. Okay? And what we need to say is, using PEMDAS, using PEMDAS rules, okay? Robert's answer is correct. Because we would need to place the parentheses around the 3 and 7 as our first solve. Okay, so let's work it out. Okay, so we started out. We're going to start out with two plus 3 times 7, and then we stick our parentheses in. 2 plus parentheses 3. Oops, 3 times 7. Close parentheses. Oops, that's too long, too short. Oh, all right. And so now we're going to do parentheses first, and 3 times 7. We'll bring down the stuff we haven't used. 2 and the plus sign. 3 times 7 is 21. Okay, and then our final. Oops, let's do a little equal sign there. Okay, and then down here, our final answer. 2 plus 21 is 23. Okay. Okay, and you can go back to this slide or pause it in the taping of it if you need to. Okay. Um, and then tomorrow we're going to go over it step by step. All right. So let's go on to number 4. I'm going to have to pause here and take this away. And now we can go on to problem number 4. Okay, and now I got to erase all this stuff. Allergies are giving me all this nonsense in my throat. All right. Now each one of these expressions are there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, there's 8 expressions, and we're going to have to use our noggins on this to figure it out. And actually, I think that some of you might be able to do mental math to do it in your head. But let's go through it together and make sure that we are, um, analyzing it the right way. Okay, so we need to see. It says several expressions are shown in the box below. We need to decide if each expression is less than, equal to, or greater than 24. Okay, so let's look at the first one. It's using a fraction. Oh, no, right? Okay, but we know that every fraction is actually a division problem, isn't it? So 1 divided by 4. So it's going to be whatever we have over here is going to be divided by 4. Okay, so 6 times 4 is 24. And now 24, 1/4 of 24. So if we had 24 chocolates and we were going to, and you were going to get 1/4 of them, we would divide it into 4 different areas, right? 4 different groups. So 24 divided by 4 would be 6. Okay. Whoopsie. Didn't mean to move that. Okay. So let's put letters over these. Put letters A, B, C, D, and then E, F, G, and H. Okay. I wonder if I can use a text box out here. Oh, yes, I can. Okay. All right, so let's use this text box up here for letter A. All right, so letter A. Okay, we said is going to be 1/4 times parentheses 6 times 4. So over here we're multiplying by 4 to get 24, but this is actually going to be dividing by 4. So if you're multiplying by 4 and then dividing by 4, all you're left with is 6. Okay, so equals here. So we're going to do our parentheses first. Our parentheses was, well, hold on. We're going to drop down what we didn't use, 1/4 times 24. Okay, So that's what we have right now. And then, like we said, 1/4 of 24, which would mean you would get one out of the 4 groups of 24. We take 24 and we divide it by 4, and you would wind up with 6. Okay, because 24 divided by 4 is 6. Okay. If we divided it actually by fractions, we could do it that way too, where we have 1/4 times 24 over 1. Okay. Actually, I can show that to you too. All right. It's hard to do it without being able to use fractions on this thing though. Okay, so let me see if I can do it. 1/4 times. No, I don't think it's going to be too difficult. If I was in person, I'd be able to show you, okay, by showing you on the board, but I don't think I'm going to be able to do it. Let me see if I can do it by drawing it, okay? Maybe I can do that. All right, so we have 1/4, there we go, times any number over 1 is that number. So if we're just going to start out with 24, right? Equals. Now we have to turn that 24 into a fraction. 1/4 times, we said any number over 1 is that number. 24 over 1 equals 24. I'm going to multiply across the top, okay, right here. Then we're going to multiply across the bottom. 24 over 4, and that's too much. So we're going to, any fraction is also a division problem, and it says 24, and the line means divide by 4. So 25 divided by 4 equals there. So if we took it and did it by the fraction multiplication, that's how it would work out, and it's the exact same thing. Okay, as me explaining to you about dividing 1/4 of 24 into 4 different groups of 6. Okay, all right. Let's look at letter B then. I might have to erase some of these as I go. Let's go back to text box, and we'll put it over here. And this is letter B. Letter B says 2 times 6 times 4. Okay, and when we're multiplying, we don't care what order things go in. So let's put our little, let's put up the problem first. Times 6 times 4. Okay, and then down here we'll be saying, we're going to put a parentheses in just to make things easier for when we're solving. Okay, so down here we'll say parentheses 2, whoops, what's there, 2 times 6, close parentheses, times 4. What? Oops, what'd I do? All right, let's stop share and go back to this. Here we go. Nope, here we don't go. Okay, screen share, there we go. And there, oh shoot, my stuff went away. All right, so we're on rats. I hit something, I hit a button by accident. So I'm sorry about that, guys. All right, so this is A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. Okay, and if you need to, you can back up the video. I'm sorry about that. Okay, so we are going over here and we're working on B. And what I was saying was we don't care about the order when it's all multiplication. So we had 2 times 6 times 4 as our initial problem. And then we're going to put a parentheses in because it just makes it easier. 2 times 6, whoopsie, 6, close parentheses, times 4. Okay, solve the parentheses. 2 times 6 is 12. And then times 4 because we haven't used them yet. And 12 times 4, we can do it off to the side if we want to. Okay, let me draw it off to the side. Okay, so 12 times 4. Okay, 2 times 4 is 8. And 4 times 1 is 4. So our answer is going to be 48. Okay, are you ready for C? I am. Oh, wait a minute. So A, we found out was, let's see, A was 6. So letter A goes in the less than 24 box, right? So let's put that in there right now. Forgot to do that. Okay, so A goes in here because it was 6. Okay, and B is 48, so it goes in this box, 48. Okay, now we're ready to do C. Okay, so C says 4 times 6 in parentheses times 1. Easy, okay? We do 4 times, let's put the problem up, let's write it out. Parentheses 4 times 6, that's 6 times 1. All right, let's solve our parentheses first. 4 times 6 is 24. Bring down what we didn't use, times 1. Equals, anything times 1 is that number, so 24. Pull it out a little bit, there we go. Okay. So this one is going to go into the middle column. So letter C is equal to 24. E has to be 24. All right, now we're on letter D. Okay, D says parentheses 6 times 4 times 3. Now we should automatically know that this is going to go into the greater than, because we have determined that 6 times 4 is 24, right? So we can use our mental math and say, well, if it's already 24 and we're multiplying by 3, then it has to be greater than 24. So let's just do D up here, okay? No, I don't want that one. I want the drawing tool. There we go. So I'll put a letter D up here. And we have, no, I changed my mind. We'll do it as a text box. Okay, down here we go. So D parentheses, 6 times 4, close parentheses, times 3. Okay, and we already said we know that 6 times 4 is, solving those parentheses, 24. Bring down what we haven't used yet, times 3 equals, and now we can do the drawing up here. Four times 3. 3 times 4 is 12. We need to regroup the 1 over here because those are ones, and we need to put a 10 in the tens place. 3 times 2 is 6, plus the 1 is 7. Okay, and our number down here is 72. Okay, and we'll have to draw it in the box over here as greater than 24. So this is letter rats. Letter D. Okay, so letter D is 72. Okay, so we're on to letter E. And letter E says 48 subtract 6 times 4 in parentheses. So according to PEMDAS, we have to do it in parentheses first. So let's do letter E over here. Letter E. And according to PEMDAS, we have to do what's in parentheses first, but let's write out the problem. 48 subtract parentheses 6 times 4, which we know is 24. So let's see how it turns out. Now, if you think about it in your head, 24 times 2 is 48. So what are we going to get here? Okay, so we haven't used the 48 yet. We're going to solve the parentheses. A little tiny bit. There we go. Okay. So 48, we haven't used that yet. We haven't used the subtraction, and we just solved 6 times 4 is 24. As we're using it over and over, we know what that is. Okay, so 48 subtract 24. And we can do this up on the side too if you want to, just to show. But for those of you who are doing it in your head, 48 subtract 24. 8 take away 4 is 4. 4 take away 2 is 2. Whoops, I got a little crazy there. $24. Okay, so I might as well write it right in here. 24. Okay, and 24 times 2 is 48. Just remember that just in case we need it. Okay, so this one is right on the money. So letter E goes into the middle, equal to 24. Messed up my E. Okay. All right, now we're on F. So 6 times 5 minus 4. And we're going to use our PEMDAS rules. So let's do F over here. F. Okay, and write our problem out. 6 times parentheses 5 subtract 4. Those parentheses. All right, 5 subtract, we have to do our parentheses first. 5 subtract 4 is 1. So let's write that out again. It's gonna be, this is so easy, isn't it, guys? Okay, so we didn't use our 6 yet. So 6 times, and our parentheses are 1. How easy is that? So 6 times 1 is 6. Obviously, this one is going to be less than 24. Over here, and we're going to write F. And our answer was 6. Okay, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Okay, we're going to go back to text. All right, so now we're on G, because that one went so quickly. Okay, this one is going to be one of those fraction ones, because the line means a fraction. And so we're going to get a top number and a bottom number. And we know that a fraction, the line means divide by. So let's figure it out. Okay, so let's write the problem first. We have, this is letter G. Okay, letter G. So we have 4 times 6. I'm going to underline it. I think. Well, I guess I'm going to have to draw another one. Okay. 4 times 6. Divide by 2. There. Okay, and so we need to do 4 times 6 first. So I'm just going to add some, oops. I'll add some parentheses in there. Okay, these parentheses. Okay, now we have, hey, 4 times 6, we know we've been doing it over and over and over again, right? So we know that that is 24. Okay, 24 divide by, might as well write it in, 2. Okay, that's too much. So we know that we're going to have 24. How many times does 2 go into 24? 24 divided by 2 equals 12. And it has to be less than 24 because we're dividing 24 by another number. Okay, so letter G is 12. It was in, oops, I just put it in the wrong box, rats. Ugh. Okay, you got to go over here. I just said it's obvious that 24 divided by something has to be less than 24. Is all righty. And now we have to look at H. Okay. Again, should be easy, right? Just have to think about our PEMDAS rules. Okay, the equation says 8 plus parentheses 6 times 4 close parentheses. Let's write out the problem. 8 plus, plus parentheses 6 times 4 close parentheses. All right. We have to do parentheses first. So we're going to bring down whatever we're not using. 8 and our plus sign. And 6 times 4, we know, is 24, over and over and over again in this thing, right? Okay, and over and over and over again, right? Um, and then we have to do 8 plus 24. 24 plus 6 would be 30, and 2 more would be 32. 8 plus 24 is 32. Okay, and this one obviously is over 24. So H goes into the greater than box. All right. Okay, guys. So there, we did all 8 of them. We have 3 less than 24, 3 greater than 24, and 2 that were equal to 24. But again, as long as we follow our PEMDAS, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. If we follow the rules, we'll figure out the equations easily. Okay? So for math tonight, let me erase all these things. I'll just erase the ones that are on the screen. Okay. Um, Durham Public Schools wants you to go to the math for this week, which is going, well, you can still, if you haven't finished some of the math problems from this past week, which was just what we were doing, solving expressions with and without parentheses, you can still do problems from that if you want to. Or you can work through these problems again on your own. That would be fun. Okay, plus you would already have an idea of what you were supposed to get. And you could always go back to this video and look. Okay. All right. So your math packet starts on page 60 of your math portion starts on page 60 of your packet. So let's see, there's 174 pages. So it's about a third of the way through, I guess. You'd have to flip through again and find that packet and choose one of the choices from the choice board. Okay. So here we go. Science. Okay. Circulatory system. All right. Again, same thing as for math. Durham Public Schools wants you to choose one of the activities from the Science Choice Board on page 82. I think that I can share that with you. Let me see. Okay, we'll do stop share, and we'll do screen share here. Okay. All right, and I'm gonna scroll down through here to get to the science board. Okay, here's the science board, and it is in English and in Spanish. Makes things a lot easier for people, especially if your mom and dad are going to be helping you. Some of you, okay? So here's all the vocabulary, reading in a mini book, outside activity, get permission to go outside from your parent or guardian, and complete an activity in your outdoor journal. See packet page. We'd have to go down to that. Here are watching videos. Okay, you can watch any of those videos on YouTube. Look at the glossary of the science human body book. Choose 2 words and complete the graphic organizer for each word. I mean, these are easy things to do, but I wanted to make sure that you actually knew what I was referring to when I kept saying science choice board. Okay, reading science careers. Read the text titled nurse with a grown-up. Okay, graphic organizer, complete the graphic organizer. You can look in the packet. So let's look down through the packet a little bit here before we get back to our lesson. This is the human body book. Okay, and I think that they included both the English and the Spanish versions here. So we're going past where there's a conclusion. Okay, there's the glossary. Okay, and here's a writing activity that you can choose. Writing in a T-chart, you're listing information from the text to compare the body systems. Okay, this is write the title of the text in the center, and then choose 4 of the body systems and write them in the top topic circles, and then list the details. That's super easy. You just write the human body, then you write like circulatory system, skeletal system, muscular system, whichever ones you want, and then you write several details like heart, pumps blood, the cells convert, and then returns the blood back to the heart. Okay, just look at the book and put the details in there. Easy, easy, lemon squeezy. Okay, vocabulary activities, and then you can draw a picture. Okay, so you just have to look down through your packet. Outside, go outside and do 20 jumping jacks. How did the muscular system help you exercise? You can take your pulse. You can feel your pulse in your neck or on your wrist. Always use your fingers, not your thumb, because your thumb does have a pulse. So you would hold your wrist just under your thumb here, kind of in between the outside and the center, and you'll be able to feel your pulse. And you could do the jumping jacks. Well, take your pulse and see what it like, count how many times it beats within 30 seconds, and then do jumping jacks, and then count how many times it beats within 30 seconds, and you can see a big difference in how hard your heart is working to help you do activity. Okay, and so just keep on looking down through. Here's the nurse article that they said you could read, and that's a really good one to read right now because we are really depending on our nurses to take care of us. Okay, so this is like a support materials that can tell you what to do every day if you need some help. All right, so I'm going to go back to sharing our. I'm going to stop sharing here, and I'm going to go back to our lesson. All right, so there. Okay, so that's what it means when it says after each session, choose one of the activities in the science choice board, and that starts on page 82 in our packet. There, okay, I thought something was up. There we go. Okay. All right, so here we go. Today's topic is the circulatory system. And again, it's in the little human body mini book in your packet. Your heart is the center of your circulatory system. Your heart has a big job to do, pumping blood nonstop to all the cells in your body. Circulation is the process of moving body along the path it travels in your body. First, the heart pumps blood to your lungs to pick up oxygen. We talked about this when we were doing the respiratory system, okay? The heart pumps oxygen-rich blood to all your cells. Blood travels away from your heart through arteries. The blood in arteries is bright red because it contains oxygen. After your blood gives its oxygen to the cells, it picks up carbon dioxide and other waste products from the cells. Then it travels back to the heart through your veins. The blood in veins is darker in color than the blood in arteries. This is because blood in veins no longer carries the oxygen. If you put your hand over your heart, you can feel your heartbeat. So you can put your hand right over your heart. You can feel your heartbeat. You can feel the same rhythm as the blood runs through your arteries close to your skin. This rhythm is called your pulse. Remember I said you could feel it on your wrist? Okay, and you can also feel it in your neck, usually on the left side and kind of off up under your chin a little bit, okay? That is called your pulse. Notice that your pulse changes depending on the activities you were doing. And that's what I was saying, that if you guys go outside and do some jumping jacks or you run around, take your pulse before and then take your pulse after. And that's what it's talking about. Try this. Here are 2 easy places to feel your pulse: on either side of your neck, under your chin, and on the inside of either wrist, okay? And then the box up above, wowzer. Each red blood cell lives for only about 4 months. It's a good thing your body makes new cells all the time. During its short lifetime, a red blood cell can travel over 482 kilometers, that's 300 miles, through your blood vessels. Okay, let's do some questions, and we can flip back to the page if we need to, okay? So this is another fill in the blank that I made, and it says, the blank is the main organ of the circulatory system, and that would be our heart, okay? First, it pumps blood to the blank where it picks up oxygen. Where do we get our oxygen from? Our lungs. So first, it pumps blood to the lungs where it picks up oxygen. The heart then pumps blood nonstop to all the blank of the body. Well, that would be all your cells everywhere. Okay. Blood travels away from the heart through blank. Let's look back to make sure we got that right answer. Okay. And it says here, blood travels away from your heart through arteries. Okay. So that goes here. Blood travels away from the heart through arteries. It returns to the heart through veins. The blood in your arteries is bright red because it contains what? Okay, the blood that is going away from the heart contains oxygen-rich blood, okay, that the cells need to make energy. The blood in the veins looks darker because it no longer contains oxygen, okay? It now contains a blank from the cells. What do we say? The cells get oxygen and nutrients, and then they process it in energy, and it produces waste products, okay? So the blood now contains the waste products from the cells. The rhythm of your heartbeat that you can feel in your neck, wrist, and other parts is called your pulse. Okay. So go take a look at these short videos. Again, I'd like to play them here, but they're not cooperating. So the first one is about the circulatory system. It is about 4 minutes. The second one is also about the circulatory system. It is about 2.5 minutes. Okay. And you'll enjoy those. They're pretty cool. So I will post them after our live meeting on Monday, and you guys will have them to refer to whenever you need to. So that's wrapping up our lesson for today, for Monday. And I'm going to be posting probably Tuesday, at least Tuesdays, and probably Wednesdays as well, excuse me, ahead of time, so that we can get a jump on the week. And again, you can go back and visit these videos anytime you want to on the YouTube channel. So I hope you've enjoyed everything today, and have a great day. And it looks like it's going to be at least partially sunny today, so get outside and have fun. Talk to you soon. Bye.